now that we've seen what's a file system and how to browse through one, hopefully you remember how to do it on your own. Let's check out command lines that'll be useful for the rest of the C bootcamp, and that'll be useful, period. The first command line is touch, create file. Cat, preview a file's content, displays a file content on screen. CP, copy. MV, move. RM, remove, as seen earlier on. chmod changes access permissions to file system objects. That's important to know in order to dodge classmates' pranks on your work. They'll try anyway. So the first command line, touch. As usual, let's give it a try. Apparently touch alone is useless. Let's do a man touch. As usual, synopsis, description, and options. So, touch. If I type cd then pwd in my directory, is-la lists all the files in the directory. Let's create a new directory, mkdir carpetbu. ls, my directory's been created. Let's go in cd krp estbu, ls, it's empty. Now let's create our first file. Touch b on estbu. Here we go. ls-la, my new file is here. Just so you know, if you do this, touch b1 est pasbu, here's what happens. See on screen. You can figure it out on your own. And now if you want to clean it out, you can use the rm in the command line. I'm going to add a little something to the rm command line. You can figure it out for yourselves. But remember to use this with caution. So, we've covered touch. Now that we can create files, let's check out their content. In order to do that, we'll use the following command line, cat. I'm not going to read you the man every single time. I hope you get it by now. So cat on a file.c, or whatever type of file for that matter. Whatever's in that file will be displayed on screen. Works on everything, files.c, files.txt, binary files. We'll see that later on. So now know how to create a file. I also know how to look inside one. Now I need to learn how to copy a file. Let's go back to my awesome directory, which is empty. Touch something original. The name of the file has no importance. ls, yep, it's here. Oh no, I've made a mistake. It's in my carpetbu directory. I wanted it in my home directory. That's okay though, I know CP. CP source destination, source equals file, destination equals the directory. You'll notice that source destination is pretty standard in Unix. So CP my file is the parent directory. In this case, it's my home directory. If I do ls, my file is still here. And if I do cd, then ls, my file is also here as it's been copied. If I remove this one with rm, the file is gone here. But the original copy is still there. I've created a copy of my file, but I wanted to move it. If I got it wrong again, what a klutz. I'm going to try again, and this time I'll get it right and move it, not copy it. So I'm going to try mv. All Unix command lines have pretty straightforward copy. cp equals copy, mv equals move, ls equals list, etc. So mv source destination. If we do ls, we can see that it's gone. If we do cd, then ls, here it is. Little extra date, we can see that the timestamp matches my last change. So I now know how to move, how to copy, and how to erase. See, it's gone. Last topic for day, chmod. Chmod changes modes, as its name suggests it. It changes permissions, to be exact. Let's go back to my directory. Little warning, Unix is very case sensitive. I suppose you already knew that, but just in case you didn't. Which means that if you add an uppercase letter to a file name that doesn't have any, it'll take that into account. You could have two files of the same name, one in uppercase, the other in lowercase. Those two files are different. Back to chmod. So, touch new file. ls, and it's here. You know those columns layout? Remember the permissions column? There's no D here, so we're sure it's a file. R for read, W for write, and X for execute. The first set of three letters, R, W, X, are your permissions for that file. The second set of three letters are the permissions for your group. In this case, the group is staff. And the third set is for the rest of the world, meaning people who aren't you and or who aren't in your group. I'm going to show you a couple of things. As for the rest, you can figure it out for yourselves, like grown-ups with the man page. If we type chmod 000 my file, so 0 for me, 0 for my group, 0 for the rest. What happens? Try ls-la. Check out the permissions column. No more permissions for anybody. You're going to ask, well, how do I regain permissions? Unix is intelligence. It knows it's your file and it belongs to you. So if you type chmod 700 my file, 7 for you, 0 for your group and the rest, ls-la, a simple ls doesn't give you info on permissions. I now have the read, write, and execute permissions. Both my group and the rest of the world have no permissions. If someone other than you tries to access this file, they won't be able to. They won't be able to read it, do a cat on it, copy it, or anything else. If I want to allow people to just read my file, chmod 644 my file. What happened? I have the read and write permissions. You'll notice my X has gone. I don't need it because my file is a text file. It isn't a binary file, so I don't need to execute it. My group can read, and so can the rest of the world. However, they don't have the W, so they can't modify it. But if they go into your directory and throw a cat, they can read all of its contents. In this case it's empty, but if it wasn't, they could check it out. Chmod is a little complicated at first. You'll need to get used to it. You should test it out with different combinations of digits to see what they do. For example, what does chmod 555 do? For all Subaru fans out there. ls-la, something's happened. The permissions have changed. Try and figure it out. And don't worry if you accidentally remove all of your permissions, you've got the power to reverse it.